Alright guys, here goes the Gigabyte 3600 memory how-to. Um, First thing you want to do is you want to pull up msconfig. I don't know if this works in Windows 10. I know it works in Windows 7. For benching purposes, you shouldn't be using Windows 10 anyway. It's not considered legit. There's RTC bugs and whatnot. You can use it for 3D, but you can't use it for 2D benchmarks. So you go into the boot, you go into advanced options, set your memory to like 3000 max mem. That's it. You're not going to do like a diagnostic boot or anything. You're just going to do, a selective startup. It has all your stuff. Just go into boot, go into advanced options, set your max mem to 3000. Now, you only need to do this if you don't have a golden unicorn IMC chip. Probably only 5% of the chips are golden unicorn IMCs, so for the 95% of you, this applies. So as you can see right now, we're in at 1800. 16, 16, 16. I can go tighter, but I'm being conservative for this demo. So, they're nothing fancy, they're just 3200 DIMMs. CPU is a 3.9 stable chip. This is not a golden unicorn IMC, so that's why I'm using max mem. This is the BIOS, this is the board. So anyway, now that we've covered max mem, I'll show you that we can do benchmarks. The more memory intensive the benchmark is, the more likely it's probably not going to pass. So here's Cinebench R11.5. Now, I could probably bench this chip at 4 gig, but I'm just running at what's stable for me. It's 18.63 points. I'm not optimizing. I'm just running them just to show you that they run. So this is Cinebench R15. That's a 1691 score at 3.9, so it's not very good. Probably get a better score if I ran it again. Keep in mind I'm at 3.9 also, not 4.0. I'll run that again just in case. I haven't actually compared performance with max mem in this bench, and I actually haven't tuned this OS at all, so usually the second run goes up. $1685, so it's not scoring that good right now. Then we can pull up I don't know if it's got my key in it right now. Might not. Alright, this one has my key in it, so Alright, so as you can see, that bandwidth is definitely up. I found with the Gigabyte that the latency is usually better, but the read and write compared to like other boards is a little bit lower. Run some PFast. Like I said, as you go, if you don't have a good chip or a golden chip, as you increase the intensivity of the benchmark, it gets harder. Like if I tried to run like 32 meg pi right now, it's probably going to fail at some point. You know, got 21 seconds. Don't even know if that's any good on this chip, but whatever. Oh, max mem. So that went up like 2630. The easiest way to tell if you're stable at a memory speed or not, I keep telling people this, is just run Prime 95. Little blend test, custom. Right now I don't have a ton of memory that I can use because I've got max mem enabled. But if I run this, pretty much it's going to, I'll just run it at regular blend. This thing's gonna fail like instantly. Look at it, not running. These are already dropping. Look at it, fatal error. So, if you have a good chip, this will pass at 3600, but this is not a good chip like I've already told people in a lot of my testing. I'm not using cherry-picked chips to inflate memory performance or anything like that. I'm just using regular average run-of-the-mill chips. Like I said, this is for benching purposes only. Probably getting corruption on this hard drive right now, but once again, this is benching purposes only. Alright, now this is key to do this, because one of the key things with this board that I'm going to show you is that in order to run the ref clock up, you need to have the multi at auto. Now, if you were trying to run like an optimized tune or a stable tune at 120 ref clock with 2666 strap, use a ref clock and then bump back up to 3200 to gain the extra performance you can gain from sub timings, you have to have the multi at auto. Now, where this becomes a problem is if you've got an 1800X, the multi is 3600, 36X. 36X times 120 is not going to go over too well because you need a chip that's capable of booting into Windows at 4.3, and then you would have to actually drop it down with Ryzen Master. So right now, I mean, they need to fix their BIOS. Right now, the only chips that can really do this easily is 1700 or any other chip with a multi that is low, like 3032. So anyway, I'm going to close this out and we're going to go into the BIOS. I'm going to reset everything and I'm going to show you how to do it. Also, I would recommend not having a USB stick in if you've got the OS on it. So, let's see if I can get some of the reflective crap out of here. As you can see, my multi's auto. If that's good or not. Alright, multi-auto. Important. This is 112.50. This is also important. Core performance boost disabled, otherwise your chip is going to, because I'm at auto, and for whatever reason this board still does it, it was doing it to me earlier, it was booting my chip up to 4.2. So, off, off, off. Those are the three things that you need to shut off for overclocking on this board. Memory settings, I got all my sub-timings just set. Leave these alone. I played with them. I can't notice a difference. It's not helping with dual rank or anything. The reason we're doing this video is because this board apparently can't do 32 gig. So, gotta show something. 3600 is what we're gonna show. These are the voltage settings. 1.4125 is my chip. So, do your chip the way it needs to be done. 1.2 SoC. 1.1 VDDP, it's 0.1 under. This is usually a rule that I use. 0.1 under B-Core SoC, which is technically VDDIO. So 0.1 under, always in relation. I try to run that. DRAM up to 1.45 volts, which is, I'm only doing 1.45 volts because that's what's been recommended by professionals in the field for Samsung B-Die. I go higher, but I'm not going to recommend that you go higher. VTT, 50% of your VDIM, and then once again high. Gen 1, I set that just because I'm overclocking. I have not tried that. I can't even load XP so far, so I don't know what it's doing. I might test it later. It might boost the scores like the Asus, who knows. Smart fans, I mean, literally, I'm at normal. I'm letting the fan ramp up on its own, and for whatever reason, the 1700. If I put an 1800 here, the fan ramps up. If I put the 1700 in, the fan runs like peanuts. Full screen logo. For some reason, this BIOS is buggy when you have it enabled, so I disable that. And then, of course, you know, this. I don't know if you've used this board, but it's really annoying when you have it on. So anyway, let's go from start to finish. And my BIOS hung because my chip isn't really stable at this speed. See if we can get defaults to load properly. Oh, the lights are on the board, so it must be working. Any day now. This thing takes forever to boot up. Alright, now that we got the BIOS to load on its own. As you can see, there's nothing, I'm not doing anything fancy here, just your typical setup. Whoops, went through Windows. And I dropped my camera, because I'm trying to do two things at once. Alright, first up, get rid of annoying, get rid of this, what I usually do is I set all my voltages and then I boot. Once again, this is Ryzen, so baby steps help sometimes, especially if you're really not that close to stable. $3,600 RAM, 3200 divider, 32 strap, whatever you want to call it. And now sometimes the first boot will act up funky. We'll see what happens. And the first boot acted funky, so usually I just do a reset. And then it goes. So once again, it's Ryzen. Sometimes when you're resetting, you're doing memory training. If I did not have max mem engaged right now, pretty much I would be killing this OS. Just because I don't have a golden chip. Get this in the right position again. Alright, and then we pull up CPU-Z again. Once again, the memory is 1866 or whatever, 1800. CPU is low because we're using the auto multi, which is 30. And to fix the CPU, use Ryzen Master. And since I already have my profile loaded, the key thing is the voltage. The voltages, the speed of the memory, the timings have to be identical to your BIOS. So what I do is you can go to clear, and that shows you what your current is. And then you go to your profile and you just match it up. If your timings don't match, it's going to want to reboot. So I'm just going to apply this, close it out, and now I'm back up to 3900. Still have my memory, overclock. This is the BIOS we're using, just the official BIOS off the site, nothing fancy. And there you have it. There's 3600 on the Gigabyte. Now, if you're really pushing hard, and say you wanted to do like CAS 14, the board's going to shut off and it's going to post F9. And it's going to shut off again and it's going to post F9. Basically what that means is just wait. Every time it posts F9, it's setting a timing. It does it 5 times, and 5 times is 1 for each latency in the timings. You've only got 5 timings, it does 5 reboots. So it's setting them. I've booted this board and showed results at 14, 14, 14, 34, 3600. You got to be patient with it. This is a problem on. It was a problem on Asus on previous BIOS. I think it's a problem on the Tai Chi. So if it's doing it across multiple platforms, or I should say multiple vendors on the same platform, chances are it probably has something to do with the Verizon and the GISA and not necessarily the vendors. So I see a lot of people blaming vendors for problems that they have no control over. So anyway, I hope the video showed you something that's informative. Obviously, can't use this 24/7 because this chip is no good. You might find a chip that's good and this will work for you. If it doesn't work for you, at least you know how to bench at 3600 without completely trashing your OS. Anyway, till next time, I'm going to move on to another motherboard now that has a newer BIOS, since Gigabyte does not have a newer BIOS and I can't do any more 32 gig casting on it. Thanks a lot.